So I've been getting recommendation from this guy, oh, this is it. This is the guy. He's nailed it. And I love the backdrop as well. Hey, I'm just an average guy. I'm just an average guy. I broadcast from the kitchen. I'm just an average guy. You know, like the aesthetics of it is just, I'm just, yeah, blood. I'm just from the streets. Yeah, I'm normal. Yeah, look, just, I've got my Nescafe in the background. Yeah, like, you know, it's all of this. I've got the kettle ready to go. I'm just an average guy like you, except he's a millionaire. You know, it's this kind of like. So I've been recommending, I watch these videos. Now you have to understand, before the whole COVID con nonsense, yeah, I am a student of economics in the sense that, no, I don't have a degree, and you know what, I was considering getting a degree from a university or some kind of online course. I wouldn't even bother now because it's all just nonsense. It's pieces of paper. I have no interest in using an economics degree of some sort to advance. It's more of a hobby. It's more of something that I generally find interest in, economics. So I'm quite, I like to think I know a bit more than the average person. Let's put it like this. And I've been doing this for some years, and I watched this guy, and I was just flabbergasted by the absolute shite that this guy is talking. What this guy is talking is nothing original. Nothing original. It is quite literally, you can just sum all of his videos into 3 words: tax the rich. That's all it is. There's nothing original about this guy. In fact, this idea has been tried in various countries throughout the century and longer, and it has resulted in, no matter what the geographical location throughout the world, whether it's a hot country, a cold country, whether it has good natural resources or no natural resources, the same thing, no matter what race is adopting it, no matter what their GPD is, let's say, whether that is actually that's a con in itself. It all of it results in exactly the same, whether it's China, Russia, Vietnam, South America, various European countries. It results in the same thing: starvation and death. And this is a known thing. It's socialism. That's all. It's Marxism, to be specific. There's nothing original. I can't believe there are people in 2025 sending me this shit thinking it's actually a good thing. This is no longer like the common law stuff. I mean, that's only been around for about 10 to 15 years. It's relatively new. I can sort of forgive people because it's a fairly new idea. But when you get people from the freedom community who are supposedly against big government intervention, because that's what this is basically promoting. It's promoting more government, state control of the market and taxing that. Because think about this logically, guys. I'm just going to go through it. I'm going to go through it, right? I'm going to go through it. Yeah, okay. And we're going to go through who this guy actually is. So what's been happening is this guy, he's saying, you know, oh, I made my money through, you know, whatever. It seems like he's made it from some kind of short investments. It's short investments of some sort, probably before 2008, before the crash, I imagine. He's made a bit of money from that. And apparently he's a millionaire. So the guy has a YouTube channel. It has over 1 million subs. It's got 1.1 million subs. And he's got this great radical idea, this new idea. And it's just simply, again, tax the rich. But as I've said, it is my notes. The economics Gary is pushing, Gary Stevenson. Let's just read a synopsis of his channel. It says, Gary's Economics. Gary Stevenson, also known as Gary's Economics, is a British YouTuber and former financial trader known for his economic analysis and activism against economic inequality. That's the first thing that fails. In economics, there is no such thing as inequality. You take emotion. There is only numbers. Adding emotion into this. Oh, it's unfair. All these videos, it's just, oh, it's unfair, or some nonsense like that. It doesn't get you anywhere. You have to remove all of this, and especially remove government out of economics, right? there's a reason why they call it a free market, because it's free from the government tyranny, which absolutely destroys everything, as we've seen in socialist countries. He was born in 1986 and grew up in a single income working class background in Ilford. Stevenson won a scholarship to study for a bachelor's degree, I think, in economics and mathematics at the London School of Economics. Now, you don't know what the joke is yet, but any decent economist will laugh at people who attend London School of Economics, because London School Economics teaches absolute slop, right? It's anyone who knows anything about sound economics will laugh at people who attend London School of Economics, and later became a financial trader at Citibank in 2008 at the age of 21. In 2014, Stevenson retired from financial trading to study for an MP.Phil, whatever that is, in economics at the University at Oxford. In 2020, he started the YouTube channel Gary's Economics, where he explains real-world economics to his audience. That's hilarious. Stevenson's channel focuses on teaching people about real-world economics, including topics such as inequality, low wages, and unaffordable housing. He also discusses his economic theory that explains why interest rates have stayed low for an extended period and why real wages have fallen and houses have become less affordable. There's only one place why this is happening. There's only one reason why this is happening. It's the central banks, right? Where anyone should know this by this point, right? But this guy doesn't seem to talk about it. In addition to his YouTube channel, Stevenson is active on social media platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where he shares his economic insights and engages with his followers. Gary, the economics Gary is pushing. This is my notes now. Let me just read through that slop I've just read out. The economics Gary is pushing is basically Marxism, which in every geographical location on Earth, when implemented, have resulted in millions of starvation and death. To do what he is asking, tax the rich, will result in what always happened in the past. This is known as something called capital flight. The rich simply leave. Think about it, guys. If you were a high earner, and keep it in mind, they determine who is rich. The state will determine who is rich. They will determine that someone making 40 grand a year, 50 grand a year is rich. It's just an arbitrary thing. You're thinking it's millionaires, billionaires. No, it's people who are earning about 40 grand more will be in this tax bracket, no doubt. Okay, because that's what's happened in the past. Yeah. The rich leave. So imagine if you're being highly taxed. You're rich. You can just leave the country. You probably have property abroad if you're a rich individual. You don't need to stay in a country that is basically thieving from you via the state. I don't care if they're rich and we should be feel, oh, they're rich, fuck the rich, Sean. It's like, no, this is the problem. These people will leave, the rich, and then, as I've said here, as the rich have left, someone, because their whole economic model of we are to adopt this retard Gary's economics, someone, if we adopt this model, it is based on rich people paying for everything. But if the rich fuck off, someone has to pick up the bill. We've seen this in constant history. That's what I am shocked. I'm shocked people are sending me to saying that someone has to pick up the bill. This will be you. All of the working class will be taxed then, because if all the rich leave, they've got to tax someone, haven't they, in order to make their imaginary policies come through. And we see this in the past. This will lead to more poverty than what we already have, and where the state will take over every aspect of society in order to install the tyranny to get the cash and labor needed. So basically, people will not want to pay, so the rich will leave. And I only need to just quote every country that has ever adopted Marxist principles to so many, they'd actually say the pick from. They will need to have a high authoritarian state in order to extract that money and make you work hard, because people are going to be like, well, I'm not going to fuck that. I'm not going to work. I'm being highly taxed. If you're getting taxed, say 70% or whatever of your income, what's the bloody point going out to work? There's no point, is it? So they have to install tyranny in order. They'll make you go out and do it. That's the whole. That's the. So this historically has led to Great Depression and tyranny, such as seen in China, USSR, Venezuela. China is in like Mao's China, Stalin's Russia, Venezuela, once the richest country in South America. Although Venezuela, there's more to that than meets the eye. But even the narrative will tell you that once the richest country in South America had all natural resources, and it's turned into a nightmare. And I remember those videos of people chasing cows, trying to eat them, etc., because they were starving so much. Vietnam and many African nations. The fact this guy has been contacted. Sorry. So as you can see here in this video with my mouth in this screenshot here, his recent video, one of his recent videos he made a few days ago. Should I speak to Labour? Labour want to come on Gary's economics. Should I let them? The fact this guy has been contacted by the Labour government in support of his ideas should be enough to tell you his economics, if legit and not a security asset, isn't the way forward. Governments aren't interested in economic freedom for the people, but always want more crippling economic slavery to keep you down. That's what that's about. The thing is, they can say, oh, we can just print money now. We can print money. If they can print money willy-nilly, why do they need to tax people? Because they need to keep you down. They need to control you. They need to make you unable to buy that new car. They want you to go on less holidays. That whole Heathrow thing. Oh, there was a fire in Heathrow. See, in my opinion, the psyop to that is that, oh, look, Labour, there's no agenda where people there want to close down airports and stop, people from traveling around. Look, Labour are making or extending Heathrow Airport. Suddenly there's a little fire. And then, oh, we must cancel extending Heathrow. Oh, well, do you see what I mean? This is the sort of nonsense that they put up. And then we just look into, and it's amazing. Again, people just don't do that. This guy comes along, they see a video or two, and they go, wow, this guy's amazing. And they don't bother doing any kind of due diligence or just basic research. I'm not doing anything like mind-blowing here. I'm just looking into, again, sort of like following the money, if you will. It's not difficult to understand why Gary Stevenson of Gary's Broken Economics, I put down, has been promoted in the algorithm and has 1.1 million subscribers, many possibly being bots, and why the Labour government have been in contact with him. Gary attended the London School of Economics, which, if you ask any individual educated in sound economics off the Austrian School, for example, of economics, is considered a joke university in regards to economic study and seen as an educator in broken socialist economics. To quote economist Ludwig von Mises, if socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists, because famously, socialists do not understand economics. The London School of Economics was founded by the Fabian Society, which has been officially affiliated with the Labour Party. The fact I have to explain this in 2025, why Gary's economics is anti-economics, highlights how far the freedom community has fallen and how desperate many yearn for a savior with shite ideas to save them. This is embarrassing hopium and copium that many will have to get out of if they want to move forward. So let's just look into it. My claim that the London School of Economics. So this guy, he's gone to London, he's gone to LSE. LSE was founded by the Fabian Society. Now, they couldn't call it the London School of Socialism or the London School of Marxism, because no fucker would attend it otherwise. Because at least one thing that the average English person, I can at least say proudly, is that English people did not succumb to that nonsense that they had in Europe and Russia and all of that. They sort of saw through it, quite luckily. So they couldn't call it that. So instead, they stuck a fancy word and came up with, the London School of Economics, because it tricks people, then average people, to think that, that sounds like a really swanky place where really smart people learn economics. That's what it's designed to do, to trick you. So let's just look at it. So this is the Fabian Society. I'm going to read out in case the people can't see it. The Fabian Society. Let me just read this quick. Yeah. The Fabian Society, a British socialist organisation, played a significant role in the founding of the London School of Economics in 1895. The LSE was established to further the Fabian aim of bettering society through research on issues of poverty, inequality, and related topics. Now, issues of poverty, inequality, and related topics has nothing to do with economics. You see, it's economics. You see, it's socialism disguising itself as something else, as it normally does, because the ideas are so bad that they have to do this. The school was founded by Sidney and Beatrice Webb, Graham Wallace, and George Bernard Shaw, all members of the Fabian Society. Today, the LSE holds the Fabian Society archives, which include extensive correspondence and early photographs of Fabian Society events. The LSE is also home to the Fabian window, a stained glass image of early Fabians designed by George Bernard Shaw. The Fabian Society has had a lasting influence on the LSE and British politics. It was affiliated with the Labour Party from its foundation in 1900 and continues to be affiliated with the Labour Party today. The LSE's influence on modern economics is significant, with figures like William Beveridge and Frederick Hayek contributing to the shaping of economic thought. So right there, just before that, it's still affiliated with the Labour Party. The guy attended the London School of Economics and also went to Oxford, which are Oxford and Cambridge are breeding grounds for security assets recruiting, if people don't know that. I'm not saying that this is, we'll never truly know. But it's just funny how it's all just coincidental, isn't it? The Fabian Society, in case people don't know, the Fabian Society is a British socialist organisation founded in January 4th, 1884 in London. Its purpose is to advance the principles of social democracy and democratic socialism through gradualist and reformist efforts in democracies rather than by revolutionary overthrow. This sounds like a long march through the institutions, doesn't it? The society is named after the Roman general Quintus Fabius Marcus Ferocus, known for his delaying tactics, which symbolizes the society's approach to achieving its goals through persistence and gradual change. The Fabian Society has been influential in British politics, particularly in the formation of the Labour Representation Committee in 1900, which later became the Labour Party. Notable members include George Bernard Shaw, Sidney and Beatrice Webb, and H.G. Wells. Today, the society functions primarily as a think tank and is one of the 20 socialist societies affiliated with the Labour Party. It has around 8,000 members and is headquartered in London. The society's current leadership includes Joe Dromey as General Secretary. That's not Jack? Is that, no, it's someone else, isn't it? Or is that Jack? No. Is that a Labour MP? Is that, no, Joe, what's his name? Joe Dromey, MP. Let's just see if it is. Joe Dromey. Hang on. Wait. I'm sure that's Jack Dromey's son, is it? Let's see. Yep, it is. Joe Dromey is not an MP, but served as a councillor in the London Borough of Lewisham from 2014 to 2021. He is the son of Jack Dromey, a former Labour MP who represented Birmingham Edrington from 2010 until his death in 2022. Joe Dromey is currently the director of Central London Forward, a partnership of the 12 central London boroughs who work together to support inclusive and sustainable growth. Also, he's this in the Fabian Society as well. So again, this is Labour MP stuff, right? So Labour Party people, right? Sonia Adisa is there as chair, and Luke John Davies as one of the vice chairs. Fabian Society, a British social organisation founded in 1884, aiming to advance social democracy and democratic socialism through gradualist and reform efforts. Cool. Next. Fabian Society founded. Fabian Society founded on January 4th, 1884, was an offshoot of the Fellowship of the New Life, which attracted several prominent figures, including some who were Jewish. Among these early members Annie Bursett, a prominent social reformer and women's rights activist, was notable. Again, I've said this before, feminism is just socialism. It's just gender socialism. It's pitting man and woman against each other. Socialism, Marxism, it classically puts working class, the working man against the rich man. That's all it does, as what Gary's economics is proposing. Even though he's a millionaire, will he be taxed quite heavily then? Where was it? Besant was a member of the Fabian Society and later became a president of the Indian National Congress. She was also a mentor to Jawaharlal Nehru, who adopted Fabian principles as part of his political ideology. Additionally, Harold Joseph Lasky, a Jewish professor, was also a member of the Fabian Society. The society has had a significant influence on British politics and has been affiliated with the Labour Party throughout its history. And that's the fellowship, although I don't think there was anything to... It's originating in Scotland. Freemasonry originating in Scotland as well. People may not be aware. Fellowship published, so it's all of... So... Wow, what a coincidence, hey? And he's shocked. Oh my God, the Labour Party have contacted me. Oh, wow, what a surprise. The Labour Party has contacted me. Well, you went to a school that is affiliated with the Labour Party. Where's the next one? I've gone. And I've said here then, it's just Henry Ford once stated. So this is all a total psyop. This guy has been pushed in the algorithm. He's been pushed in the algorithm in order to get noticed. I imagine most of his followers are bots, etc. I don't think that they're real because this is shite. 2025, and we're talking about ideas from like 150 years ago that have played out since then and has shown disastrous failed nations with millions and millions of dead. And this is all about power grab, because all this guy is advocating for is taxing the rich. And think about this. Many of you might think, oh yeah, well, that's a great idea, tax the rich, right? Think about the mechanism that is needed to tax the rich. That will mean you will have to have bigger government. You have to have bigger state. You will have to change the law. The country will have to become a tyrannical nightmare, essentially. More power to the state in order to do this stuff. Because if people are going to leave, and we know people will leave if the taxation is too much for these people, what are we going to do? Are we going to make them stay? Are we going to like force them to stay? Think about this. People can't seem to understand, like, oh yeah, we'll just tax the rich. We'll just cast a magical spell and just make it. How are we going to do that? What is the mechanism that is going to be used to do this? It's going to be more power to the state, bigger state, less freedoms. That's what it's going to be. That's what it's going to mean. People, again, because I don't blame people who have recommended me this guy, because they don't know. They are economically illiterate, and they have been made to be economically illiterate, because if they understood economics, they would see the world in a totally different place. And and as I've said here, as Henry Ford once stated, it is well enough that people of the nation do not understand our banking and monetary system. For if they did, I believe there would be a revolution before tomorrow morning. There is a reason why they did not teach economics in schools. And when they do teach economics in schools, it is the Keynesian or Marx. They won't teach you Marxism. They might touch on it, but by teaching you Marxism as a serious, like an actual serious form of economics, it's a total joke. They won't do that, so they'll do the one up, the next one. There's usually 4 schools of there's 4. There's bottom is Marxism. The next one is Keynesian. Keynes, named after Keynes, who was a paedophile. And then you have the Chicago School of Economics, which is Milton Friedman. And then you have, which is considered the most sound and perfect economics, the Austrian school of economics, which is the gold standard of economics. Yeah. But they'll teach you Keynesian at best, right? And which is quantitative easing, a fancy word for counterfeiting of money. They'll teach you about, like, how it's good that the state's involved. It's interventionism into the market by the state, which always is just a bad idea. The media, of course, give positive coverage to the London School of Economics, as the establishment want average people to think LSE is amazing in economics, so people don't get taught actual sound economics and realize the con of the banking system and money. The London School of Economics was founded by the Fabian Society, which has been officially affiliated with the Labour Party. Is it any surprise why the Labour government have contacted Gary Stevenson of Gary's Economics? It's not difficult, is it? Not difficult to understand what's going on here. But this is why I'm shocked that people seem to listen to one video of his or something, or two videos, and then they say, this guy is amazing. This guy, there was a guy in a pub that was ranting at me, telling me how great this guy was for a good 10 minutes. And I could just tell by it that I bet it's going to be absolute junk. And it is absolute junk. I can tell you that. Person who actually knows a bit of economics you can just look at that and go, there's nothing here. There's no examples used. It's just pure emotion. It's pulling at your heartstrings. Oh, my mate can't find a job. Oh, it's well hard today, isn't it? Like, oh, mate, it's shite. There's nothing. Oh, I'm doing my video from a kitchen. Aren't I an average bloke like you? I'm not a city boy. The people fall for it. And this is why I'm done. I'm done with the freedom community, because not only am I bombarded with complete shite for common law, the fake common law, the thing masquerading as common law, but now I'm getting people coming up to me saying that we just need to tax the rich. That's what we have to do. We just need to tax the rich. That's never been a famous saying or known, There's even a song. Maybe that's going to be the farewell song, Eat the Rich by Motorhead. Maybe we should put that on. It's actually a good song. And it's, and it's all this is designed because they want you to rely, again, they want you to stay in that system matrix, that corrupt system matrix, because what this is going to be, this is basically a giant advertisement for Labour. We just need Labour. We got this guy. He's going to trick all the mouth breathers out there to think that this guy's one of them or whatever. And then we're going to get the Labour Party in. The Labour Party are going to promise this guy they're going to tax the rich and everything. And it's all about more power grab. More power grab. The rich will fuck up. And look, at the end of the day, people are rich. The people who are rich, they're just going to pay for fancy solicitors to tax avoid because they can afford to do that. They'll get around it some way. And who's going to pick up the bill then? You are going to pick up the bill. So if you are supporting Gary's Economics, you need to wake the fuck up, mate. Because this guy has got nothing good in your life. There's nothing good in your future if you support this guy. And it's just, honest to God, when I watched these videos, I thought people have learned nothing over these last 5 years. Nothing, it seems. If they're recommending ideas that we have to get the state to put more high taxes. I mean, we're already in a high taxation society as it is. And people want more taxation, it seems. So I'm sort of done with all these protests, all of that, because all the people that seem to be left now at protests I'm seeing not only just general nutbags, but like you're getting a shitload of grifters that are trying to just to make a bit of cash and everything, it seems. Also, I went to a London one and I was just arguments going on with people who were running the protest against other people and all about buy me a coffee and all this shite. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've got buy me a coffee, but I don't bloody go on about it or anything like that. And they're all fighting over pounds, fighting over pennies, it seemed. The aftermath of this protest, it was fucking pathetic. We've got this. So this is, I've not actually seen this video. So it's funny how Joe Politics is like, how can I say it? It's like a political rag, but it's designed like it's come out from the Tavistock Institute. It's designed, it's like Joe Politics, Joe the every Joe guy. It's designed for politics for street youth, essentially. That's the thing, or people who are like, from the streets, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's like that. It's designed for people like that. It's like a psychological, like, I'm gonna say that that's them catching that crowd, that audience, by putting out in Joe Politics. So Joe Politics has shared this. So I've not listened to it. Let's listen. Apparently, David has said here that let's listen to some of his rhetoric, right? David has said, Gary Stevenson is the Greta Thunberg of economics. What a weirdo. And he does look a bit weird. Look at what's this all about? This guy's a millionaire. He's wearing, he's wearing some trainers, some battered old trainers with red and white socks, Adidas trackies. He looks like shit. But this is intentional, I think, in order to, I'm just trying to be like, one of the average people, yeah. So I'm going to dress like a piece of shit, basically. This is like his interpretation. This is the meme. Hello, fellow kids. This is this guy trying to blend in.
There's millions of people up and down this country. The main number one thing they are worried about is the economy. Their kids can't get houses. They can't afford families. They can't get financial security. They look at the future and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Tens of millions of people want the economy to be better. This is the only way to make the economy better. There's no other way. If you don't tax the rich, their wealth will grow and it will grow and it will grow and it will squeeze out your family. It's already squeezed out the working class. Now it's squeezing out the government. Then it's going to squeeze out the middle class. This is going to impoverish 60, 70, 80, 90% of the country.
Right. Again, it's all emotion, isn't it? It's all emotion. I've not actually heard this. It's emotion. My solution to this would be quite the opposite, in the sense that not tax the poor, but have no taxes at all, or at least put an opt-out for every public service. So if you are a person who doesn't mind the state schooling system, you can continue paying for the state schooling system. If you are a person like me and thinks that the state schooling system is an indoctrination factory, I will not pay for it. I will rather keep that money, and then I will use that money for private education, whether that's a private tutor or some kind of homeschooling facility like Hope Sussex, for example, right? That's an example. The same would be for healthcare. If you are a person who believes in the NHS, you can pay taxation to the NHS. If you're a person who thinks that the NHS is an absolute nightmare, you can choose not to pay for the NHS and then use that money you would save to buy private healthcare insurance like Bupa or whatever, which actually, ironically, is actually more cheaper if you work it down and break down the taxation for NHS. You actually pay more for a bad service of the NHS than you would do as a private service, or just a better service than the NHS, right? You would actually save that money and then you would use that money for your own thing. This is called freedom of choice, okay? Freedom of choice. And that is the only way you will improve these services, when you introduce competition, in the sense that if they don't do good, they don't get the money. If they do good, they will get the money. This is how the private market, the free market works, right? That's how I would do it. His solution is that, no, we have to have more state tyranny to tax the rich. Now, I'm not rich. I'm far from rich. Probably most of you watching are much richer than I am, right? However, I'm not going to say that I'm going to tax the rich, because I know the reality of what happens if you heavily tax the rich. They will simply leave. This is not rocket science. Once they leave, someone else will have to pick up the bill, and that will be everyone else, whether they're rich or poor. And the politicians, the people like Gary, they won't be paying the tax, okay? Because Gary will either fuck off to Spain or wherever, and government officials are usually immune from taxation. Indeed, John Enoch Powell, taxation is theft. Yes, all taxation is theft. And just because you are using thievery onto a class of people that you don't like doesn't make it any more morally superior. You are still stealing from someone, because that's what the state does. It puts a gun to your head and says, you must pay this or else. That is no different mentality to when a mugger robs you on the street. Give me your money or else. There is literally no difference to it. Just because a government does it doesn't make it any more morally doesn't make it morally superior in any way. There's no high ground here. So it's not difficult. So he's being promoted by Joe. Again, if you look into Joe, total psyop rag. It's just designed to try and capture the youth and try and think it's some sort of counterculture rag. It's not. I've obviously sent this to David, etc., David Clews. So Gary Stevenson is just a left-wing slop merchant. Taxing the rich is a bit more. Taxing the rich a bit more is hardly. It's not. It's nothing new about this. Fails to address the key structural problems. Pure Fabian slop. Listen to what
this guy. I hope we're all well. So, just a video on this Gary Stevenson character, right? This guy is a left-wing slot merchant. Now, I'm constantly calling out all these, counter-jihad right-wing slot merchants. It's just the same garbage. Oh, let's just put a bit of tax on the rich people and everything will be fine. It's slop. It's garbage. He just wants an even bigger government. The biggest tax base comes from rinsing working to middle-class people. I'm in Paisley right now, right? Look at the state of the buildings. Buildings are a disaster. This place has had fortunes spent on it. Gary Stevenson doesn't talk about mass immigration that artificially inflates asset prices. He doesn't talk about that and the way it drives down living standards for people. He doesn't talk about usury, the role of true usury, international finance and capital now, does he? It's just, tax you rich. It's just garbage. I'm sick of these people. They offer the most simplistic solutions and everyone just laps it up. But clearly, there are people who have a lot of money and don't give a lot back. But is the answer the government taxing them to the hilt? No, it's not. It's a cultural problem. But it's just garbage. As I said, they'll bring in a wealth tax and they'll say anybody earning over like 20 grand deserves a wealth tax.
Yeah.
Mark my words. Speak to you later. Bye.
That's what I'm saying, guys. That many people, when he says tax the rich, right, that is a very vague term. What's classed as rich? Who gets to determine what is classed rich? It will be the state. And I bet you any money they'll put on a cap that it will say that anyone that is earning over 45 grand is considered rich, and then therefore they will get a whatever they'll call it. They'll make up a name for it. David's called it the wealth tax. It could be named anything. They'll just come up with something arbitrary to call it, and then they'll just tax people, and then that's what they'll do. And obviously, they want to tax more of the middle class type people because it's like they're not rich enough to leave in a way. They can't just conveniently leave as a rich person could. They can just get on a Biggin Hill airport or some kind of private airport and just fuck off out of the country into property that they own abroad. Middle class people don't really have that luxury. Although I did see on the show the other day that David was showing about a working class family that just got up and left and are having a great time somewhere. I didn't actually see. I only caught halfway through it. So it looked like somewhere like in Spain or something. And it's like, I don't blame them. I generally don't blame them because this country is absolutely falling apart. Exactly. Again, John Enoch. Gary's economics. Give all of your money to the government to spend for you. No thanks, Gary. You bellends. It's. Exactly. And someone on D Live, Sue Lynn. People not on benefits will be considered rich. Yeah. Yeah, it was Cyprus, was it? Lodi Blue, yeah. It's junk stuff, guys.